Hello, here we have a multi-loop circuit and we want to find the current inside or the currents inside this circuit. So specifically we want to find three currents, I1, I2 and I3. So since we have three unknowns, I1, I2 and I3, we need at least three equations to solve for the unknowns. So these equations will come from loop rule and junction rule. Okay, so let's start. So we don't actually know what the currents I1 and I2 and I3, the direction of I1 and I2 and I3 are. So we don't know their direction. So it's up to us to choose what direction we want to assign I1, I2, and I3. So in our case, let's pick this direction, I2, and of course this is a junction, so there will be a separation of currents here. So here we have I3 and here we have I1. Okay, so let's try to form our first equation using the junction rule, since it is the easiest one. So using the junction rule, inside this junction we have currents that are entering are I1 and I2. So I1 plus I2 must equal to the current leaving, which is I3. So using the junction rule, you can also get this same equation if we are to apply it here. So let's try that one, so that we will max out all the possible ways to solve this. So here we have I1. So if we are to reverse the direction of I1, we know that this is also I1. And if we are to reverse the direction of I2, so it will go from here to here, and we want to know what is I2 here. So I2 here is actually directed here. And last, we want to reverse direction of I3. We know that we want to forward I3, so I3 will be going here, and I3 will have a direction here. So let's try to use junction rule inside this junction, and let's see if this is the same. So the currents entering here are only I3. It must be equal to the currents leaving, which is I2 and I1. So I2 plus I1. So using the junction rule for all the junctions inside the circuit, we have come up with the same relationships for the currents. So next we will be so these two equations are the same, so we will be only using one of them, since one will be redundant. Okay, so we have set up our first equation from the junction rule. So the next step is to get two more equations using the loop rule.